I see on YouTube, I see no video. I hope. Like, why would the video not be working?
Weird.
No,
Oh,
okay. We're
no.
on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Welcome to F1000. We're gonna
Hey.
get Instagram going. We gotta let all the stragglers coming in.
Yeah, yeah.
USGP down in Texas. Yeehaw! How you doing today, Mike?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm coming in a little bit blind, though. I mean, I've seen obviously what's gone on over the last 2 days, but you've been in the book. I haven't been in the book yet. So if you've got some good leans that you want to jump on, then let's hear them.
Well, you know what? I have been in the book, and this is a good starting point. We've never done this before, so I do. I mean, slightly apologize. At the end of the day, we're here to be sharp, and we're here to win money.
Yeah.
And I've been sitting in the book this morning, rewatching the sprints, rewatching the quali sessions, and I was already leaning before there was an announcement about an hour and a half ago. I was looking at how can we fade the Mercs. Lewis starts in P18. He had a terrible qualifying session. I don't think they looked great in the sprint. I think they both struggled with their front left with some graining. They struggled with the rears. They ultimately moved backwards throughout the sprint. So I had already written down both Mercs not to be in the points. Like the category is both cars points finish. And I was looking at them on the no side to fade it. It was plus 110. Then the news breaks that George, who was supposed to start in sixth, excuse me,
Yeah.
is now starting in the pit lane because he's just got to replace his whole power unit after crashing and qualifying. So I was a little worried that the line was going to move. You can see now we're live an hour and a half later. It's minus 150. It hasn't moved as much. I thought this might be down to 200 or 250, but
Still
we've
good.
already taken it. Is the
Yeah.
nuts and bolts here? We've got $250, and we got it at plus 110 for both Mercs to not be in the points. Now they start. Lewis is 18, and George is in the pits. So, I mean, are you still feeling good about it, Mike? It hasn't moved
I
as much as I thought it would.
no, I feel really good about it. I mean, I think we, this is a car in the sprint that was struggling. It looked like with Dag, like you said. I
Mm-hmm.
think the conditions today look like on track, might be even a little bit hotter, right? So that could lead them to even struggle more potentially with how they manage their tires, starting from the back and needing to make up positions. So I think it's really going to be a tire management race. Unfortunately, it's just one of those ones that's a bang on two stopper, and it's whoever manages the tires the best. And starting from the back of the grid and having to push to try to make up positions to get into the points is not really where you want to be. So I'm a fan of it.
I mean, I'm happy we're on it. I'm happy that we got just the little bit of extra value. And the more I thought about it, I mean, if when it hits, I love having 250 on it. You make just over 250 back. You're sitting there. You've got half of your slip back to you already with George just randomly going into the pits. And we snagged it before the book could adjust. I mean, the book still has him. You can see at the top here. It still's got him P6. So I don't know if
Yeah.
this ever does change.
They never change it, man. They never
No.
change like
All
that.
right.
Nah, they never touch it just so they fuck people over when they look. It's great.
Can I spin this? This isn't necessarily where I would have started, but we've lost. Actually, no. You know what? You mentioned tires, Mike.
Yeah.
I have a bet that there's two ways that I was looking at capitalizing on Aston Martin versus the Alpines. There's a
Okay.
straight up team match bet, and
Okay.
where they stand, just for everyone's awareness. Gasly, I mean, he's going to inherit six, but Gasly is one ahead of Alonso, and then you've got Ocon one ahead of Stroll down the grid. So, I mean, unless these two crash out, the team bet is kind of Gasly versus Alonso. I liked, and I'll go there with the screen share. I liked the look of the Aston Martin. Now you
Really?
might have to call me. Is this just I'm anti-Alpine? I
Yeah,
hate
you are.
that
I
they're
think it's.
orange
I
this week.
think it's too steep. Nah, I think
Yeah,
it's too steep. So you're suggesting Alonso gets Gasly. This is the team match bet that you want, sorry?
that was one way to look at it. Was the team
I just like
match bet?
man Gasly. I'm not suggesting that the Alpine is a world beater on this track. I mean, the fact that I think he's got it up to P6, obviously with some of the changes to the grid, is impressive. He's good on this track, man. Like he drives this track extremely well. I can't. I'm not come down.
Well, and here's the issue I have with the tires. The Aston Stroll is in a group with Ocon and then both Williams, and he's plus money.
Right.
I mean, I think that maybe shakes down to Ocon versus Stroll, but it's the same
Probably.
concern. Once I saw the tires, I was like, okay. I don't know.
I don't think there's a big like delta in terms of what the expected performance is for those cars either. Like I mean, and again, track position is not going to be that big a deal here because it is relatively well. It was kind of like hard to overtake in the In the sprint, it's so different. Obviously, you can't really compare the sprint to the race because there's going to be 2 stops and you have the full load of fuel. It's different, but
guys were racing in the sprint.
yeah, I can't really get a read on it, man. To be honest, like that to me is maybe too close of a matchup to really tell. I think anything can kind of happen there. I don't have a lean, I guess, is my point.
I don't disagree. Yeah, especially once the tires almost neutralizes it, and it's not worth going on.
Right.
Okay, let's go back to the top.
Okay.
We got to look at it because the value's there. Does Max just win this race for minus 138? Red Bull versus McLaren is minus 163. We were just there. Let's make sure it didn't move.
Okay, so do we have this conversation without first having the conversation about Ferrari? Like how do we approach this if we want to start looking at who's going to be in the podium positions, who's going to be potentially winning? Like with Sainz and Leclerc there, they're the only ones that can work as a team. Mm-hmm. If they didn't fight each other for so much of the sprint, it looked like at least like Sainz's pace once he got away from Leclerc, he was like at the front running pace. He was at like Max's pace, and Max was in clean air the whole time.
I think Sainz is the faster Ferrari driver this weekend, and
I agree with that.
Now he doesn't have to battle Leclerc at the start.
Yeah, agree. Well, assuming that he gets away.
Okay, can I spin this then, because I don't necessarily love the Red Bull, but what I had marked, and you just kind of took me there.
Okay.
I think the Ferraris are racy. I think there's a chance they might be racing, and I don't know, like Max versus Lando, to me, maybe a coin toss. Does a Ferrari battle with them? That maybe feels like a coin toss. What doesn't feel like a coin toss is Oscar joining any part of that fight.
You think he's going to?
No. I think the Ferraris are racy enough that they keep Oscar behind.
Yeah.
Lando's not going, he's not passing Lando. So you already know he's not getting, but we're not betting on someone losing a front wing. But he's not getting Lando just on the track. And I think the Ferraris are racy enough that they're staying forward. Now, I liked this even with the threat of George right behind him in P6. You don't have George in P6 now. There's a Oscar Piastri exact P5. Now I'm going to combine it with something.
What?
No, like a little half edge, how we like to with the combo podium. I mean, you know exactly where that's going. But an exact finishing position, you're going to hate the value. It's plus 137. I mean, Vegas sees this the exact same way I do.
Like, I hate the exact finishing position bets, man. Like, it's just like it's so. Okay. So you're going off. I understand. Like, so the Ferrari,
no one else finishes fifth in this race unless there's something that happens.
Man, I don't know if that's necessarily. So this is like I might be big braining this like way too much because we're like you see what you see on track, but if you go back to the Baku show, like I was on Oscar Piastri and the McLaren did not look like it was going to win in Baku. I also liked Lando in China, and Lando ended up. Did he win China? Yeah, he did. Did he? Yeah, he won China. Okay, so this goes back to this idea.
No, his first one was Miami. I think he won the sprint in China.
He won the sprint in China, whatever. Like my point is that the McLaren was overperforming in the race and underperforming over the course of the weekend. And the reason for that is the only flaw it seems like that exists with this car right now. Like usually they have to tweak it a little bit. For the most part, it's actually pretty good when it gets out on track. The balance is good. But it seems like these guys on tracks that have been resurfaced, or in Baku, for example, where we know that the track is a street track, it gets obviously really dusty and it has to evolve a lot over the weekend, is they lack like this like inherent mechanical grip. But then the car starts to come alive more and more as the track evolves. And you start seeing like the very classic, at this point, McLaren performance that we'd expect. Lando seemed to get there yesterday because of that just unbelievable pole lap that he put down, right? So I think he outperformed the car. I think Oscar's probably where they actually truly are at this point. But my point would be, I don't think we can sleep on these guys. I mean, McLaren has, they've shown that they have the best car. I know that everybody brought upgrades, and maybe Ferrari, maybe Red Bull are more competitive at this point, but like maybe they're being undervalued right now. Maybe McLaren's being undervalued. And they're going to show performance that hasn't shown up just yet because the track's going to evolve so significantly over the course of the race.
I don't think they're being undervalued. This is less me I'm valuing Ferrari highly this weekend.
That's the hardest
part.
There's
very few things that separate these cars just from a philosophical how they're put together. Graining is one of them. We not every track has graining. When there's graining, Ferraris come to the top. Like we've
They
seen
do.
it over and over.
I'm not arguing that point.
It might be
That's
the
true.
only positive for the Ferrari. So I've got these little mental notes. One that I didn't freaking trust myself this weekend is Lewis can't put together a sprint weekend.
Yeah.
Thumbs up to Lewis on the. I don't get the thumbs
Just
up.
has an absolute disaster.
He can't, and I should have
Weekend,
just trusted
reaffirming
myself.
that point.
He can't do a sprint weekend. The other one is if there's graining, Ferraris are great, and we saw. I mean, that is that not what we just witnessed in the sprint? Is at the end of the stint, the tires were still there with Ferrari. Even Fred afterwards, he said, "Look, we had to battle at the start of the race, and we still had the tires and the pace at the end of that stint." That's what's making the difference in races these days. And I just think I think Ferrari is pushing forward.
Well, so they look when they were running the mediums in SQ1 and SQ2, they looked like the best car. And that, what time?
No one's going on softs in this
That was
race.
that was the right time, right? That's the same time of day. It's a little bit hotter. I guess my concern is still with the track. I know this is hard because you can't try to bet on the right side of tire magic here, but they at the end of everybody came alive. I guess at the end of qualifying yesterday when it got a little cooler because they're on the soft, so maybe that's not relevant. Okay, I like Carlos Sainz. That I guess is my point. Is I like Carlos Sainz. This to me, it's very very bizarre comparison. It doesn't make any sense actually when you think about it. Mm-hmm. But it seems a little bit Bahrainish to me. You know what I mean? Where he ended up having he had a great race. He had a really great performance.
Well, it could be, but it's also the entire sector 1 is Silverstone. Sainz won silver. We know he can drive this type of track. He literally won in Silverstone. Yeah, what I wanted to do, Mike, was take the Oscar exact P5 because I don't see anyone else that can finish P5 in this race. But then also take the combination fade of, and I think I was leaning Charles. I think you're also would be leaning Charles to be fourth, where you take Max and Charles not to be fourth. Because to me, the risk for Oscar, it's not going backwards. It's is everyone sleeping on the McLaren, and this finishes Max and both McLarens. So then you're protected with at least you don't have Max and the Ferrari there together, but they can both hit.
Sorry, explain. Because I don't like the idea. You still have the exact finishing position in there. I get what you're doing. Okay, I get what you're doing. I can't do it. I'm not gonna.
Dude, there's some times where there's not a lot of value in this book.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that, and you would know way better.
I'm looking the very first thing that before I looked at lines or any bias, right? I looked at the grid and I'm like, what happens here? And even with Russell there, I'm like, Piastri's fifth. No one else is finishing fifth on this grid because the big part is I'm high on the Ferraris. They look good. There's gonna be graining. Their tires they're gonna have the best tire management at the end of those stints.
Okay, so then so with everything you just said, and can we look at then Sainz at minus 120 against Leclerc starting ahead of him? Would you entertain that?
I think you're getting better value at Max and Charles not on the podium together at even money.
I guess that's true. Okay. I could be convinced of that. That's fair. That's one. I'm just looking at a 1v1 with a guy with track position who's looked better the whole weekend. You're getting slightly better value for the guy in second not to be on the podium, which I don't love.
Does this end Max, Carlos, Charles? The sprint could have gone that way with another 5 laps.
This is, I guess, my problem is, I came in here saying that I think the McLaren could be competitive. What that means is that I actually have no idea what's going to happen. So how do you bet on not knowing what's going to happen? You have to start trying to find very specific bets. And I think that's why looking at something that's just like a one-on-one maybe is the way to go. I truthfully I have no idea what's going to happen at the top.
The tough part about picking just between the Ferraris is they are racy.
Yeah, they are
with
racy.
each other.
I agree with that. Well, and so you have to keep in mind too, we did just see that they raced each other and the guy who we think is faster won that race. So what do you...
Yeah. Leclerc has that P4 that Lando took such advantage of on the grid. Max is going to move over from... Well, Max doesn't know. It's going to be different.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, we could also trying to... How many times have we tried to play at the start of the race? And it's just,
I know. No.
You can't, right? The reality is the guy that we like is even money and he starts ahead and he's been the better driver. Is that a bad bet? The reason it's even is because Leclerc is a better driver than Sainz. And he's been in form, Leclerc's been in mega form recently. right? So I understand why the book is giving them even odds, but
It's even
I
because
think we
dum
can both
dums like
agree.
you like Leclerc.
Yeah, like us dum dums think that he's better because he
Yeah.
has more points and is a better driver, right? But in this particular case, I think that Sainz, like again, I get there's a bit of understeer that they're dealing with here. There's going to be a change in track temperature over the course of the race. I mean, I kind of I like Sainz in this spot. I'm okay with it.
I like this. I have this written down. I just thought there was a different way to get a little bit more value. But for the sake of 20 points, they could be battling for the race win for all we know.
They could be.
Mm-hmm.
It's entirely possible.
Okay, then.
Well, like again, I just don't see anything. Like this is a race where I'm like finishing position. I truthfully think that those top 5 cars could finish in any order. I really, like if you think that you can nail down those top 5 cars, it should be paying you way more than what you're going to get paid. Yeah, is my point.
I don't disagree. Right? I don't disagree. What about this one? I do have this written down. Albon versus Colapinto. They start right beside each other. I like the kid from Argentina.
That's our fucking guy, man.
I like the kid from Argentina. They start side by side. You're getting plus 250. They're side by side on the grid. We literally just saw him start behind Albon and pass him. He's the one that derailed Albon's race in Singapore.
I know. He did. Dove in and made a great move.
But again, and I know sprint's not going to be the same as the Grand Prix, but he was racing in the sprint, man. He was defending.
Dude, I know. Man, he's
holding his own.
I agree with that. I'm just like, the odds of him outperforming Albon again are just like, I think that's why you're getting, they're so low that he's going to go an entire 60 more laps and finish ahead of Albon again, unless something happens to him, obviously. But
are we is he low because he's a rookie and we just haven't seen enough? Like I rate Albon very 100%. High, but I think Colapinto is the real deal.
No. Well, what I think that Colapinto he's in the most enviable position you can be as a race car driver, which is like, you got nothing to lose, right? Like he's similar to Lawson, I think, in a lot of ways this weekend. But so I love the fact that he has that mentality, and I think that's maybe you just continue to ride the kid because he is driving with nothing to lose. I don't know.
And he drove like
dude, I don't mind it.
The way he was driving in the sprint, he's looking to get places. He's not going to sit there behind Albon.
I agree. I'm just like, does he get, when you have 2 stops, it's a 2-stopper, and you're starting, sorry, he's behind him. Yeah, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if it's a 2-stopper and you're starting behind your teammate and you don't get him right away in the first stint and show the superior pace, which like, okay, easily Albon could, obviously, then are you just a victim of team orders for the rest of the race is my question.
Maybe, if anything, Albon's the guy that's going to go 1-stopper.
Well, we've seen that a number of times too. Mm-hmm. Right? 250. Okay, I'm intrigued. I'd write that down. I'm just not.
Super Shane, Lando at plus 225 for what? The win?
I don't even mind that either, to be honest.
Yeah, is that's for the win. I mean,
250, buddy. It's to win outright is plus 250 right now.
Is it?
He's actually right.
Like, should we be looking at that?
Maybe.
It's just it goes back to that's a coin toss for me.
No, but keep it purely. So I would take that. I would take that at plus 250 because what I said before is that if the issue here for the McLaren is that the grip is going to come to them, which I think that there's a precedent that exists that we've seen that happen.
I think the grip's going to Ferrari though, but we're not talking about a comparison right now.
No, we're not trying to, because this is like the guy that you get the guy on pole for plus 250. Like, do you just take the guy? He gets clean air. The grip comes to him. He's able to, like, it's not a bad bet, to be honest, right? It's not a bad bet. Plus 250 is crazy, man.
It's just he couldn't keep up with Max yesterday.
No, I know, but there's so many factors that influence that, obviously. Like, he's pushing way harder than you have. So if he holds, this is like, okay, is he going to hold FP1? I don't know. He did it. So
yeah, but the Ferraris battled.
He can do it.
Ferraris battled just as hard, if not harder, than Lando, and they still had more pace and more tire at the end.
Man, 100%. But if you're the guy in front and you're in the clean air, can you manage your tires better? And then you have this added benefit of potentially the grip comes to him and he's able to really throw some times in.
Lando was 2 seconds off Max the whole sprint. He had clean air. It was the Ferraris kept going back, and they kept doing switchbacks every corner, and they still had more tire and more pace than him at the end.
So then I'm saying that I'm making the point though that I think his tires are falling way less. Okay, sorry. So the benefit of clean air is maybe not the point that I'm trying to make. The lack of mechanical grip can wear your tires out. Obviously, right? You're sliding, and like that sliding we've seen happen with the McLaren a number of times. Then all of a sudden, they just stop sliding. Right? All of a sudden, the grip is there. because the track
But that's the
evolves.
graining. You just get through the graining.
Yeah, you just get through the graining, right? So once you get enough of that mechanical grip, then you don't have to worry about that issue, and you can fight through it. And I think with a full load of fuel, like you're going to see it's going to be different. Obviously, the stints are going to be different than what we saw in the sprint, right? They're on the hards at the very least for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Man, plus 250 is like, it's kind of crazy value. Like I get that they haven't had the best weekend and that everybody understands why Lando's on pole, but he still got pole. Like, it's not like Max was for sure going to get him with his next lap. It's not like Sainz was for sure going to get him with his final lap in Q3.
Do you not think that Red Bull's just brought upgrades and they're the best car now again? That
No.
they didn't think they had to, and then they finally had to put it in production, and it showed up here, and now they're just the fastest car again?
No, I don't think they're the fastest car again.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. Like, they generally perform extremely well on this track, and I'm not suggesting that they won't be the fastest car here. They could be. Maybe Max just like absolutely dominates and wins again. But I do think that for plus 250, I'm willing to entertain the most dominant car in the last half of the season. With I'm not trying to pull this out of my ass. I truthfully think that there is a level of performance that will come to the McLaren as the track evolves. I don't think it's crazy to say that. I've just seen it happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like everything I've been reading, nobody said anything about it. It's not like it's just.
I just don't think I saw that happen yesterday. I thought the
but
performance went away from Lando.
How many
Oscar.
laps, how many sessions, how much rubber has been laid down on this track? That's my point. And it's the exact same thing that happened in Baku. Like, it wasn't until
One
the
more
race.
session
It wasn't
since.
until well, that matters. It's a lot of rubber to be laid down. And it wasn't until probably halfway through the race in Baku that Piastri really started to find that performance. He ended up getting ahead. He had the grip going into turn one to be able to, like, first of all, get that overtake, which is crazy, right, on Leclerc. And then he held the lead. And it's just like, where did that performance come from? And he drove the race amazingly, but he still had enough performance in the car to beat the Ferrari straight up on a track that it looked like they were going to be dominant on. It's just plus 250. That's the only reason I'm entertaining it. Like, I love the fact that it's sitting there at plus 250. Like, this guy, who suggested that? It's not a, it's a
Super
good, it's
Shane.
yeah, like, it's kind of super Shane. Like, I don't know. It's a good bet.
Yeah, I have no
Plus
concern
250.
about him holding the Ferraris off. I think he's going to lose. I think Max is going to run away with it again.
You just take Lando Norris at minus 110
What about without
That's also
Max?
good value.
I'd entertain this.
without Max. Okay, take without Max then.
Plus 140.
That's a bet.
Mhm.
Without Max is a bet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, without
We're back,
Max,
eh?
not the pole
We're
center.
back.
You can get the pole
We're back,
center
baby.
without the guy in number 2 for plus
I would take
140.
that for plus. I would take that for plus 140.
It has all the same concerns about the Ferraris just potentially.
100%. I'm not like again. Like I'm not.
Grading stages.
Yeah. It could happen, right? Leclerc could have just like a mega race and blow up our board if we were on. Like that's all of those things are possible. This is the problem with betting on those top 5 cars. It's like I really think that anybody could do it.
Mm-hmm.
I've just seen this story before with McLaren. That's the only reason I'm saying it. Ferrari, we didn't even know if they were going to show up at this track. Like, there's a lot of reasons to think that they still had Ferrari could show up with a full load of fuel right now in this race and have bouncing problems. Like, it could happen. We think that they've solved their problems, but they haven't been on full fuel yet. So we don't know, right? What I do know is that the McLaren has been the best car.
Yeah, I think I'm maybe too stuck on it. I came into the weekend reading about the new surface. I read a bunch that said a new surface can lead to graining. And then I'm like, oh, Ferrari's really good if there's graining. And then we
100%.
see that happen. So I'm like, I don't know. I like the looks of the Ferraris.
Fair. Yeah. I don't know. Like,
Without
I
Max is 140. I'd rather... I mean, you give up $100, but I'd rather, I think, take without Max if we're going to be on Lando to win.
Okay, I'm fine with that too. Like, just mark it down. Not that we have to take it, obviously, right? But I think it's.
Do you like the Colapinto over Albon?
I can't. Like, I don't know if I would. I would rather take Lando to win than Colapinto over Albon. I guess a plus
At the same
That's
payout.
my point. The same payout. Yeah.
I know it is. Alex is
Like,
so
it would
good.
just be like he could just the chances of him just winning or beating his teammate in a matchup. Like, it's not like he's going to get thrashed by Colapinto for the rest of the season, right?
No,
he's going
but
to win. He's going to beat him at one point. When was the last time he beat him?
I don't know if he has.
Well, Baku, no, because he won. Albon beat him in Baku. Yeah,
Was
so Albon
Singapore his
beat him in
first race,
Baku.
Colapinto?
No, because Albon
No,
beat him in Baku.
second race.
Yeah, but that was Baku wasn't the first race. Monza was the first race. So Albon beat him in Monza, beat him in Baku, and then Colapinto sniped him in Singapore. He like obviously,
I just like that's a crazy
yeah.
payout for the start.
I actually don't like it. I don't like
crazy
it.
payout.
That's for us to like. That's a trap line. That's like to trap you. We're gonna get trapped by.
This isn't football. We don't talk trap lines here.
No, I think this is a trap line. That's a bit of a trap line. They're gonna try to get you on that one. Ooh, plus 250. That's worth it.
So I liked this a lot before George went to the pit lane. But do you think Checo gets his way into the top 6? George was that P6, and that's why I loved it.
No, because he doesn't have any of the upgrades, does he?
Checo's got to go through Magnussen, Alonso, and Gasly to get to
Checo's
6.
Checo is a different car, though, I think, right? Like, he doesn't have everything on it that Max
I actually don't know.
Yeah, I think he does. I don't think he has everything on it that Max does.
Well, same car or not? It's like this is what Checo's where Checo is.
Do you trust him to do anything?
No. I mean, it's even money for them not to have both cars in the top 6. Now, very unlikely Max anything happens, but what I like about these fading the both car finishing positions is you inherently get that DNF. And it's even better than if we were to bet on not classify for a guy, he could crash the last lap and that he classified. But if he DNFs on the last lap, he's not top 6. Like this bet has a little bit more to it for a guy that just also might not finish.
Yeah, but we're not
betting on that. No, I'm saying, but on pace, does he go
now in Mexico?
To 6th?
If this was Mexico, I'd be like, yeah, 100%. But I don't know, man.
Well, you don't like anything. You just came in with no ideas and you don't like anything. So I'm just trying to find stuff.
That's what I do, though. That's my thing. That's my shtick, buddy. What do you mean? That's not true. You've taken us some places. What do you mean? And you jumped on the Mercedes.
I jumped on the one.
I'm a big fan of that. I think that was a great snipe. Huge fan of that.
So no, we don't like the.
Still looking through.
Do you think Checo gets to the top 6?
I don't. I just don't. No.
It probably feels like it's probably a 50-50 and it pays you money.
I think it is a 50-50. I mean, I guess that's the point. Is like we're trying to look for like something that feels like a 75% chance and it pays 50-50 versus something that is what it is, right?
But didn't he struggle? Like he was fighting against the V carbs in the sprint. Like he wasn't moving forward through the grid.
But that's the problem because he's like, I don't think his car is the same car that Max has. Where did I read that? I had that written down.
Well, that would even help the point. But let's assume that they are the same car, just based on what we're witnessing. Like I don't know if whatever cars he's in, new or old, it doesn't have the pace to go up through the grid in his hands. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I do agree with that. I just like it's just like. Okay, I'm in. Sorry, what was that paying? Even money?
Even money.
Yeah. I mean, we can mark it down.
After all this, we probably should have put more on the Merc. I wanted to
save more money to play with on the show. Just put 333 on it, dude. I like the bet. Is there any other? Actually, are there any other no's? I guess I don't mind it. I'm trying to. I wanted to make sure that I didn't just make up the fact that he doesn't have those bits on the car. I can't find it.
I didn't hear anyone say.
I thought that was the case, but I mean, like you said, he did struggle, and I think that was part of the reason why the level of performance, is kind of to be expected.
For all we know, an upgrade for Checo would bring it away from him, anyways.
That's such a good point, actually. That's a very good point.
Both cars podium. Ferrari minus 175 is probably not enough value to fade them because I do like them.
No is minus 175.
Mm-hmm. But it just goes back to like, is there enough room for both Ferraris, Max and Lando? Probably not.
No.
Even if the Ferraris are fast, Max or Lando is probably still there.
I would imagine so, right? I don't like what happened in.
If the Ferraris are fast, Oscar's P5.
I just don't. I would like McLaren most team points for plus 175, to be honest.
I didn't even look at team points because it's so hard to just figure out the map every time.
Not that we need to be on that, but like I would take that a plus 175.
Bet the best constructor starting on pole to get the most team points for plus money.
Right? Like
it's like getting Max starting on pole at plus money to win the race.
Well, we've been there.
Most team
I don't.
points. I don't hate
Yeah.
it. Like well, I actually really like it. But how does Ferrari win over?
Like, what is 1.5 better than 3.4? Yes.
One's 25. I do this every week.
How do we
18,
do everything? This is like
15,
crazy.
12,
It's
10,
crazy. We should have just like a
35.
fucking chart.
And then you'd have 12,
Yeah.
10, 27.
Yeah, it's just like not even close.
But what about 2, 5? Worst case Ontario, or well, a Ferrari could win.
2-3. 1.5 versus 2-3. I think 1.5 wins, isn't it?
No, if Max
Oh,
wins,
sorry.
and then it's Lando, both Ferraris.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
18, 28, and 27. McLaren's would win. So you're covered if it's 2-5.
Is that an easy bet to make? Should we not just be making that bet? Like, maybe we just get rid of that idea of Lando winning and just, again, like, I'm this is all predicated on this concept of the grip comes to them and they're, fuck, even if it doesn't.
Well, let's put it this way.
Just,
We were looking at Lando win plus 250. Okay.
Yep.
Lando without Max plus 140. I like that a lot better.
me too.
But you can
But
get,
now-
if Lando wins,
Yeah. Then you're like,
McLaren
yeah,
has
almost
most
guaranteed
points.
to win this bet. Yeah.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And if Lando's P2, as long as Oscar doesn't crash, Ferraris can be 3-4.
I just think he's
This is
going to have a
better
good
than
race.
140.
So when we buy that at plus 175,
I think I like this.
maybe Carlos Sainz and Leclerc just battle each other and Leclerc drives
Did
off the
you
road
just
and we win
bring-
Carlos Sainz bet. Did I actually bring something?
Did you bring something? Oh, yeah.
Am I a guy?
Guys, I hadn't been watching the YouTube. What's up? What's up?
Who do we have? Our boys?
Yeah.
What are they saying?
I like the kid. Argentina, probably back. Sorry,
he likes
I
the kid.
derailed you just to talk to our chat. But you know what?
No, I would.
That's what we do. You talk in the chat, we're going to talk back.
Oh, I want to get some leads. I want everybody's
I
leads. I
think you
What do
maybe
people
just
think?
brought a bet that we're going to look at McLaren most points. I think I like this.
Again, he's on ball. And... Okay. Do you like? Is there a need to like give some respect to Gasly at plus 225 to win his
No.
group against Magnussen?
Don't ask me to do that, man.
You just won't do it, eh?
Don't ask me to do it. Like,
I know. I wouldn't. But like, it's the shame.
you just
that you
did.
don't wanna-
Now I got to
You're all
respond
mad.
about it.
Yeah.
The audacity that they have to be in orange. Like, pick a different color.
Yeah, but you need to keep your focus because this is what you do. You're all get all hot and bothered about something that's irrelevant. We just need to worry about winning money, not
What do you
hating on
wanna do
Alpine.
for
You spend
Alpine?
most of your free time hating on Alpine. This is the only time of the week where we need you to have a real conversation about them.
What happened
The guy
last
starts
time
with
you
track
convinced
position.
me about Alpine?
I don't even know.
Okay, what do you want to pitch? What are you pitching?
I think I swear to God, the last Alpine bet we made was like last year with Ocon to finish third place in Monaco, and he did. I swear to God, and he just like did it for us. It was,
No, it was
I
probably
think that's
when
what
you liked Alpine
or 2 years
over
ago, whatever it
McLaren.
was. No, that was a long time ago. And that was not a good
Because
bet.
they had a plan.
That was not a good bet.
And
and I've been wearing that.
Alpine has
buddy.
a plan, man.
I wear it. I'm wearing it. Okay. I'm just saying. I think the Gasly's kind of getting shit on here. First of all, this is a guy who normally his season is just like an upward trajectory. He sucks.
Okay, but nobody wants to hear
All
about
the time.
Gasly and Alpine. What's the bet that you want to pitch?
I want to take the bet. What have I said? Group 3. Group
Oh,
3.
no, I didn't hear you say
Magnussen,
that. That's my
Hulkenberg,
bad.
Gasly, and Tsunoda. Right. So Tsunoda is not a factor because I don't think that the carb is suitable for the track.
Mhm.
The fact that he's even got it there is great. So then it's just a question of can Gasly stay ahead of the two Haas's, which, like, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but he's got the track position on them. He's got Fernando Alonso. Like, do you think Fernando Alonso is going to disappear? Like, Gasly might get got by Fernando Alonso at some point, but
I don't think any of them disappear, but this could easily finish with one of the Haas's ahead. I
course it
looked
could.
at this group and
it's
like the
plus
Haas.
money. But it's plus 2. He's the third favorite in the group. But is he kind of getting shit on? Are those cars that much better than is the Haas that much better here than the Alpine has been this weekend? And Gasly seems to drive this track really well. You're not going to take this bet. There's no point in continuing to talk about it.
No,
but it is
I'm,
plus
I'm
220.
like disgusted trying to convince myself to bet
It's
on
plus
Gasly.
225 is my point. What do we have right now? What are we looking at? Like, what do we like?
We've already
We like
we're
this-
on the Mercs.
We're on Mercedes for plus money.
We've got
We like
Sainz over
the
Leclerc and
McLaren.
McLaren most points.
I think we like Sainz over Leclerc. I think we like it.
I like it.
So would you like? Are we out here looking to sprinkle on something? Or are we out here looking for something a little bit more safe? Like, I haven't seen anything that's safe that I like, which is not. There's nothing that's safe. That's the most insane thing to say.
I mean, if you want to, I guess the Aston's not in this group. Like, you could look at Alpine over Aston Martin if you wanted to be on Alpine, just because there's track position.
I don't want to bet on Aston Martin, though. That's my point.
You don't want to bet involving them.
No, I don't want to bet involving Fernando Alonso at all.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what to expect from them. We don't have a Haas versus Alpine bet. No, I don't. Okay.
I mean, the combo podium fade, I still like that, but it probably doesn't make sense to be on Carlos over Leclerc and Leclerc
No, we can't do
no podium.
Yeah, we can't do both. Sorry, I got to go back to the combo podium fade. I haven't really looked enough at it. I don't think
It's only Lando, Max, and the Ferraris.
Yeah, there's like nothing. Yeah, there's nothing. No, I really don't like it because, like I said, I don't actually have a real read. I have no read in the top 5. I just like the idea.
Read. That's the problem.
No, I don't. I don't trust your read at all. Not that it won't be right. I'm just saying, like, I think that this is like the nice part about the McLaren bet and the Sainz bet are actually not really a big deal about what happens, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're just betting. You're not betting on team versus team. We're just saying Sainz looks better. He starts ahead. Let's just take Sainz.
McLaren is just like they have 2 cars in the top 5. If they just like finish up there, then we have a chance of winning the bet for plus money, right? Actually, if something happens to Sainz, it's a bit of a hedge, right? If something happens to Sainz and we lose that bet, well, the McLaren bet's looking pretty good.
Yep. So
that's kind of nice, right? So those 2 bets actually make a lot of sense. Then you have the Merc bet, and then is there just something? We're okay, right? We're finding some things.
I mean,
like,
when we have 750, we could just split between those other 2.
I'm okay with that too, to be honest.
Is there another like both car points finish you could fade? Haas?
Would you?
I could see both Haas being the points.
So could I, yeah. In America?
But it's not a guarantee.
And they're like, oh!
In America?
Both Haas in America.
But it's not a guarantee. They could finish there, and then Magnussen gets like 50 seconds of points. Penalties.
Penalties? 100%. Yeah. Is there like, I'm just looking for like is there a minus?
Winning margin? I didn't love winning margin.
No, winning margin is going to be. Why? I have no read. If you have a read, please let me know.
No read.
I have absolutely no read.
No.
I'm looking for the fades. No, I don't like that.
Still like Oscar P5. The more we talk about it.
No, because what are we going to do? We're not going to try to pigeonhole them where we've got. No, it doesn't make sense, man.
I know.
And I'm not saying it's not a good. It could be one of those. I don't look at it the way that you're looking at it. Like you see, and you're like, "There's the Sunday drive right there." You're trying to find the guy.
Yeah.
And like, I actually don't. I do not think it's going to be a Sunday drive. I think he's going to be competitive. I get where you're coming from, 100%. Because you get Gasly, you get Alonso. Like it makes sense. The Mercedes
he's going to push to attack early, and then he's going to lose his tires.
And
he's going to settle into P5.
That's completely reasonable, and he could easily finish in P5. I just don't think like if we're talking like plus 2s, plus 3s, like I'm interested, right?
I agree.
It's just not enough.
You're taking a guy to finish in one of 20 exact places plus a DNF, and you're getting like even money. When you shake it down that way, it makes
it's crazy. It makes zero value in it.
It makes no sense.
No.
I do like the Colapinto if we're looking to add something that's like $100 to pay out a lot. Like we got 750. Let's say we did 150 on the Colapinto, and then you've got 3 and 3.
Which of the boys was on the Argentine?
Oh yeah, the boys love.
Who was saying? Who was sprinkling?
Yeah, loves Colapinto.
Yeah, that's our guy. He loves Colapinto.
Lando over it. He goes, I take Colapinto over Lando.
Okay, I love it. He's obviously Argentinian. Can we take, what is it? Colapinto to win. What is it?
No, but take him against. He's just gonna bully Alex. He's in Alex's head. Alex is like, well, hold on.
Man, no, it's just.
No,
not,
I love Alex.
The more and more you think about it, it's just actually not that good a bet. Like plus 250 is not enough value for this guy to just beat Albon.
I disagree completely.
This
is perfect value. Alex is amazing. We've just seen Colapinto do it. They start side by side.
Man, something has to, like, his car is gonna break down or something. Like something has to happen.
Alex is?
No, Colapinto's. Like he's been too good. Like they just won't. The universe won't let this happen.
No, what the universe will let happen is he'll be amazing and beat Alex and then not have a seat next year.
I mean, no, because this is F1. Like when you start doing that, then you do get a seat.
No, that's F1. No,
he's gonna
didn't
miss
Liam,
out. He'll have a DNF. for
Didn't
that
Liam
reason,
beat
you know what I
Yuki
mean?
last year? It's like, nope,
Yeah.
sorry, you don't get a seat.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, so that's my point. Franco's gonna just beat Alex, and everyone will be like, oh, he had more points once he went in the seat, but he won't have one next year.
I can't really find anything else that I like.
I think this is a great way to just go 150 on this, and then you go 3 and 3 on the Sainz and the McLaren. And you got 250 on the Mercs.
I just betting on Colapinto would just purely like it would just be like an emotional bet. I've never done that with you.
It's so
I've
much
never
more
made
than
it
emotional. Mike.
No, it's not, because I don't think there's any reason to think that he's going to finish ahead of him. I really don't. I shouldn't say that. I love the mentality that he has right now. Like, I take that back. And I think we benefited. So here's the thing, chaps. We already punched our ticket with Colapinto. We already did it. We already took advantage.
No, he saved us with Williams, and I think we owe it to him
to
now show him that he deserves it.
He did what we needed him to do. He drove like a maniac. And he drove like a maniac at the exact time that we needed him to drive like a maniac. Like, I just don't. We're already up on Colapinto. We don't need to go back to the well on that at a plus 250.
Yeah, I disagree with that mentality. I disagree with that mentality completely. There's no there's no carry forward.
No. It's not a carry. It's not a carry forward.
If the value's there, the value's there.
No, but there's two other. My point is, there's two other bets that I like that I'd rather just like split the money on instead of just like throwing a flyer on him.
You think
to
so?
be honest? Yeah, he might. Man, he could. Maybe he does finish ahead of Alex. I'm just like, I like those other two bets more than I like that bet.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's my point. I'm not coming at you with something different that I want to take. I'm just saying.
Sainz Leclerc feels like a very similar toss-up. Colapinto just beat Alex in the sprint? Like, straight up. Outqualified him, stayed ahead of him. No? Didn't he? Am I totally wrong on that? I'm not looking at it. Didn't I just watch that?
Sorry, am I just misremembering what happened in the sprint?
Oh, maybe I am completely. Well, you tell me.
Well, now I'm trying. Now I can't remember. So I'm like, did he finish ahead of him in sprint qualifying?
I thought he did. I thought he was the one that made it through.
Now I need to remember.
Colapinto was 10th in the sprint, dude. Outqualified Albon. Alex was 20th in the sprint. And Colapinto raced everyone around him. No one, like, he wasn't just getting past and getting gobbled up. So he started 10th, he finished 12th.
He finished 12th, yeah.
Yeah.
What happened with Albon though? Why do I not know what happened?
I think he had track limits in
yeah.
Or he had something happened. But still.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, right. And now they start
qualifying,
side by
track
side.
limits and got knocked out in Q1, right?
But this isn't hey, if you don't want to take it, you don't want to take it. But I think
I don't want to take it.
You go 3 and 3 on the other. All right. You come in blind, you don't listen to me. That's fine.
That's what happens every week. What do you mean?
You're not listening to Ead.
He had also doubled down and said Colapinto to beat Norris. So I liked his train of thought for a little bit up there. And then he jumped the shark. It's fine. It happens. People get excited with Colapinto. That's fine.
This is just this should be minus 120, minus 120. We're not.
No. What do you mean? No, it shouldn't.
The only reason it's not, Mike, is this isn't Abu Dhabi. It's not 5 races yet. Because it's too fresh. We gotta look at what we're seeing. Franco is sick. He's probably an equal footing driver to Alex. They're showing it in qualifying. They're one's beating the other on any given session. He's not getting gobbled up. He belongs on a racy track where he was passing and defending.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
And the only reason that they're not, and again, they're starting side by side. The only reason they're not closer in odds is it hasn't been enough time. And I'm saying we could be on it, but you don't want to be. So that's fine.
Let me just plug it here.
The only reason this isn't closer is that we just haven't seen it enough.
I don't want to be on it.
Okay.
I'm not saying like
there's nothing. There's nothing else.
It's not like there's nothing else.
Sainz last pit
just
stop.
a quick last squeeze. We're not going to do that. He
just fights through the grain.
You have a plus 250 on the board. So like, are you looking for another plus? I'm like here looking for something.
There's no plus 250
in the sweet spot.
What plus 250?
You want Colapinto at plus 250.
Oh.
For like a marginal bet. I'm just saying, like, is there something else here that we like enough to, like, I guess if we're going to be squeezing something else in, then you're probably looking for something in that range. I like Gasly more than I like that bet, dude.
Gasly to do what?
to win Group 3 at plus 225 or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm just saying.
No.
The point I'm making is a point that you are disgusted with. But I'm making the point.
Well, that's just it's a bet on the machine, which I don't trust. At least my bet's equal machinery. I'm just saying. I think.
Yeah, but you're also betting on like what one of every other race. It seems like the Williams is coming out of. Like, you don't think it's going to happen to Franco at some point?
Is it gonna happen to Alex?
It keeps happening now. Well, maybe. Yeah, fuck. I don't know. Then you just got to worry about Franco bringing it home, baby.
You brought yourself there, pal.
It's one of those things where it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, we don't need another bet because, like, you could
I know
the McLaren most points, so we don't need the Lando without Max.
I'm not like we are on a 2-car bet, but we're on a fade 2-car bet, which is sick. I love that.
Yeah, and
is it like
we're
buddy,
choosing
with all the
signs to finish ahead of Leclerc?
Yeah, but that's your favorite bet though. That's why. Like, we're betting that because you love that bet, and I'm in. Like, I think this is the time to do it. There's a lot of other times where I don't think we should do it, but this is the time to do it. And we won it last time. We were on it. That was a crazy bet in Canada. Do you remember that? We just won. They both came out of the race, but we just won because Carlos survived.
Yeah,
he just made it longer. I don't even. It was craziness. And I think Leclerc, if they stayed on track, Leclerc, I think he had him.
Right. But, he did have.
We got lucky. We got real lucky there. But yeah, I based on the body of work again. I'm good. I'm good with Carlos Sainz on a coin flip. I'm fine with it.
Are you good with just these three? We should. If we had the 330 on Merc, we'd be a lot happier.
I would be way happier.
But I stand by we needed the potential to have
I like having the conversation. I don't like the fact that all of this conversation led to just like $150 on call it bid though. But I think it was still the right move.
Classified last finisher.
You're just looking at our boy Joe. Like, I don't think I could ever get over that heartbreak. I don't think I could ever get over that heartbreak.
Yeah, Stroll just
fucking Lance Stroll just pit.
We got to practice for procedure in case you're ever going to have a fastest lap.
Which you never will. And then you know what the best part is? They just get rid of it. Like, it's not even thank God.
Yeah.
My favorite thing that F1's ever done is getting rid of that. That's the fucking stupidest rule. It's the dumbest rule in all of sports. Like, I think it was literally the worst rule in all of sports. It's the stupidest thing ever.
The only time I liked it is if you could gain the 30-second gap, if you could get yourself a pit stop window in the front, then you deserve to go try to get that extra point.
You know what?
Like, in those moments, I like that.
Yeah. You know what? Then you're right. The fastest lap only exists for, like, if you're in first place and you can get the fastest lap, then you...
Yeah.
Sure.
You have to be in first for
you
it to
count. You have to win the race. You have to win the race in order for it to
No, you have to be leading the race when you do the lap for it to count.
Yeah. Everything. Yeah. Exactly. Yes, I agree. Yeah, you have to, like, none of your laps before that were fast count. You have to, like, actually pit and then do it.
Yeah. Winning margin, I mean, we talked a little bit. I've seen it a couple of times in the chat. It's tough. I mean, neither of us really have a gut. Could it be under 5? Yeah.
I have nothing.
Could Max be 5.5? Yeah. Could Max be 30?
Could anybody? Could Max be 30? I don't think he's going to be 30, but, like, could anybody be way up there? Yeah.
Do you think I'm not saying it's going to happen. I could see Max being 30. I can't see Lando being 30 or the Ferraris being 30. I do think there's a chance.
I can see Lando being 30. I have no idea why you don't think that.
There's a chance here.
How many seconds did Lando just win? Literally the last race. Like, everybody's forgetting. This guy just won by like a minute in Singapore.
What you're forgetting is it's been a month and everyone's gone new cars.
No.
You're not trusting what you're seeing with the new specs everyone's got new shit on their car.
Yeah. I am that guy though. Like, I'm the guy who, and sometimes that works for me, sometimes it works against me, but, like, I am the guy who just thinks, like, there's like an underlying DNA to what is happening. And, like, things I get, like, sometimes F1 moves quicker than I think, but other times it's worked out for me where I'm like, we've seen this before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like it's a new season and it's a 2026 rule set or something. Like, we've seen this before.
Do you agree with me that there's at least a small chance that the new floor that Red Bull puts on, it just makes it the rocket ship again? And they just run off with, and Max wins the rest of the races? I don't think that that's impossible.
No.
I think they bring an upgrade package and he's the best again.
Here, my honest opinion is the development direction that Red Bulls take, like, I think that they've exhausted, like, they're into the diminishing returns area of upgrades on the Red Bull. I truthfully think that. Like, I think they're there. They don't have Adrian Newey to, like, guide them through it.
They still
I think
have
they have
him.
really smart. They still have really smart people there that are making amazing decisions.
He's
But
still
like,
there now. Like he'd be
yeah, but he's
contracted
not.
for
I don't
this
think he's
car.
making. I don't think he's making the same. I don't think he has the same input that he did previously.
Yeah, maybe
I
not.
don't think he. Right. I think it's different. I think. I think the other cars, because they've been in the wilderness for so long. Like when you go fucking like this, like Red Bull went like this. They started here and they went
I
whoop
understand.
right up to here.
Yeah, they hit the
They didn't do
ceiling.
all the exploratory shit that everybody else did. So I do think that the performance potential is higher with the McLaren, for example. That's the car he's got to beat. I just think there's a lack of grip for them. That's all it is. They seems like they figured out the balance after the adjustments from the sprint. I think that the McLaren's going to be good. I'm happy with the team points bet.
I'm happy with the team points bet.
I don't know, man. I'm still looking. I'm not finding anything that I think I like more than those two bets. And like I know that we're just kind of taking a bit of a flyer on signs, but I like the signs bet. I like being on something that you like. You know what I mean? Sometimes I come in here, I always say no.
And let's take a step back, because for sure we want to go Sainz versus Leclerc and not the combo fade of Max and Leclerc on the podium.
No, because isn't the Sainz versus Leclerc bet, like we said, a bit of a hedge for McLaren most points? Because if you're really concerned that really like it's McLaren or Ferrari that we're worried about, like we've talked about. So if something happens to Sainz, at least that like he has.
I'm not concerned about something happening to Sainz. I'm concerned about Leclerc just beat Sainz.
Yeah, that's fair. You can't.
But
you can't prevent
the
everything.
McLaren most points it doesn't matter. They're not connected by which Ferrari's ahead of which Ferrari. It's more just total finish.
It's just tied into losing. Like if we lose that bet because something happens to Sainz, then it benefits us for the McLaren bet. Like I don't know if there's a better way to cover off two bets at the top right now. You're saying
I understand
combo
that.
fade, a combo podium fade of Leclerc not being there.
Yeah. Well, that also
there.
helps the most points. Like if it's Max that comes out,
yeah,
then you've got two Ferraris move up. A Ferrari 2-3. I don't want to do all the math, but all of a sudden Ferrari's a lot more likely to get most points from them inheriting the Max position.
But if Lando wins, then like.
But if Charles is going to finish ahead of Carlos,
yeah,
he's probably on the podium. So they're the same in that sense. But this brings in Oscar. Like you were worried about Oscar going forward. So if Oscar is the one on the podium, now the Ferrari's not there. It's so unlikely that there's room for both Ferraris, because I do think Max and Lando are up there. So we're picking the same thing. We're saying Carlos is going to be better than Charles, and it's Charles is the one that's not going to have that podium position. Forgetting about, if Oscar comes through, well then yeah, they're definitely not on the podium. If something happens to Max, they're definitely not on the podium, because the bet involves Max. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then what? So we're just what is it at minus what?
It's even money. It's plus 100. That's better value.
Oh, it's plus 100. Whew. Okay. Actually, like,
it's at the end of the day, it should be the exact same thing. We're betting on who's going to finish P3. You could take Carlos at minus 120, or you can say, hey, it won't be Charles at even money. Right? We both think Max and Lando battle this out, and then there's a Ferrari fighting for third, and we're already saying we like Sainz in that third position. The biggest risk here is Lando has a terrible day and it finishes Max.
Yeah, no, I understand where you come from. That is actually
Charles,
a sharp way to do it, because then you just like the chance of Max, something happens to Max, then you get to capitalize on that too.
You get to capitalize on that, or if Oscar comes through, then he takes that podium place.
Yeah, and that's good for us too.
It's just better value.
Okay, no, I think you are right. I think that is the bet.
Like Leclerc could beat Sainz, but they both finish 4-5 because Oscar comes through.
Yeah, like you said, the nightmare scenario is that just like 1, 2, 3 Red Bull with both, which is.
And it would have to be Carlos in order for it to be a nightmare for us, where we would have won the other way.
Yeah, but I don't think that McLaren, like that Lando, is going to fall out of a podium position.
Me neither. I think Lando and Max are fighting this out. And I just think the Ferraris are either right behind them or have a gap to Oscar. Or it's
You're
very
right.
similar
Okay.
to the end of the sprint where it's Max and then maybe Lando falls to P3 and it's Carlos that goes and gets him. But we're right back to where we were. It's Carlos, not Charles.
It is as close as you're right. Like it's about as close as you can, just based on how we think things are gonna. Like it's. Yeah, I mean, like I guess if something happens like at the start and Leclerc gets ahead of Carlos Sainz, you feel a hell of a lot better about this bet, obviously, even though
About
Charles
the podium
is
phase.
running in a podium position. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Okay,
if
I
we're
think you're
already
right.
going to be on the
think that's the way to
matchup,
do it.
I think this is just a better way to do it.
Yeah, no. I agree. I think that is a smart thing to do. I do agree with you. I think I'd rather take this for more money. Like again, if this was minus 150, I would be entertaining it.
Right.
Right.
Max and Charles.
Right.
Should we do Lando and Charles? No, that's minus money. Max and Charles
Max and Charles, right? Like I think Max and Charles is the right one
instead of the signs.
instead of the Sainz bet. Okay. Then I think we're locking it in. So we're splitting 750 between those two bets.
Yeah,
McLaren most points and like, do you have a lean? Just. Like technically, this is the shortest. This is the shortest one we would be on, right?
This is a crazy slip.
It's a crazy slip.
I wish we had more on the Merc now.
I know it sucks. Well, do you want to just like
the Merc still
what is it like?
Just
what
like
is it at?
Yeah, putting more, just diversify. What can you do the math to do like what the total line is? Weighted line, minus 150.
Right, this is
Still not bad.
still not bad. What does this end up being? You put another 80 on them or whatever, and then you just kind of split the rest. I actually would be fine with that. I do like. I think the Merc bet. Like I think everybody lowered. Like the track is smoother. Everybody lowered their cars, and when they did after the sprint, like once everybody lowered their cars and the performance.
Can
was
they?
there and
Is it not Parc Fermé all weekend? There's some questions that I asked.
No, they
that
changed
I
it.
know
Remember?
are just dumb,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. No, I think they changed it. Right? Where
they're
you can-
allowed
you
to
can
between
change-
sprint
yeah.
and then Grand Prix qualifying.
Yeah. So then everybody just like dropped their cars, and the performance is there, and Mercedes doesn't have it.
I don't think we double down. We've got it. We're gonna have $500 when that hits. We just gotta
fine.
make sure that we're covered on the other. We gotta hit one of the other two,
Okay.
right?
Okay. I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
350,
This is
350.
This is how things worked out. What's more than 350, 350, isn't it? What did we bet?
No, yeah,
250.
you're right. Yeah,
Yeah, so 375, 375, 375.
$50 on Sainz last pit stop.
I wouldn't even.
Plus
I wouldn't even make
1,800.
that bet. Yeah, I don't
It's
even know
all because
why.
of the graining. I think they
I
can
don't know.
extend. Their
I don't even know if
stint.
that matters. Like it doesn't.
They
Like
extend
the
their
guy.
stint.
You know who tends to extend the stint the most? It's like
Alex
the guy in
Albon.
first place. Who's in first place? The guy in first place tends to be the longest on the stint.
I think
I don't know.
Max
Could be
is
Max.
back in-
Could be Lando.
after the sprint. He said his whole thing was we could
We're
just
not doing
drive
that.
our race
We're not
again.
doing this. We're not doing this. We're
No, I
not
know.
betting. We're not just.
We're
gonna
not.
waste
But his whole thing was we're not reacting anymore. We could just drive our race. Like he doesn't care when everyone else is pitting. He's not gonna be like I could do extend. He's like, oh yeah, we're just doing our plan.
I know, which is really funny. Like that
He's
he
gonna
says,
run
like,
away with
this.
it.
Wait till there's radio chatter, and they're like telling him to do something, and he's like, "Why are we doing?" Like it's gonna be the same thing that it's been all season.
Right.
They have the same
so
arguments.
What is it? 375?
375. So this is. Oh, fuck.
And we got 250 on the Mercs already.
Yeah.
If you're watching, I know you couldn't. We did the Mercs before the show. We had to take the value. I would still like it at minus 150. Like
I would.
If
I
you're
would be-
watching, and
I
you're debating
would
would the
actually-
boys still take it. We'd still be
I
on it
would
at
be.
minus 150. We got it at right when the news broke. I gotta do a better job going back to back in the chat. I missed a bunch in the YouTube. Both
Anybody
Haas
else
cars
like-
in the points, winning under margin under 5 seconds. Mads,
Yeah. Okay.
I like that.
I like it.
Piastri fastest lap. We've tried a bunch of times to pick fastest lap. We
It's
just
just-
cannot.
I hate
we
it,
can
and I'm
never
glad
know.
that I hope they just get rid of they don't even track it in the future.
You think
Like,
you've
not
got
even
it, and
to give a
then
point.
Lance Stroll or Daniel Ricciardo just pits out of nowhere and doesn't even get the point for it.
Sorry, what was he?
Biz nasty. We're doing the slip right now. We've got so we took this pre-show, but we've got both Mercs not to have both cars in the points. So we're fading. You can find it in the points finish, and we're fading it. We got it at plus 110. We've got 250 on that. And then on the show here, we're taking another fade of a combo podium with Verstappen and Leclerc to not be on the podium together. That's even money, and we're doing 375 on that one. And then we're on McLaren to get the most team points at plus 175. We're putting 375 on that one.
Okay, so I'm just going to lock these in. Combination podium finish, no, from Max and Charles. 375. McLaren, most team points, 375. Plus 175. I'm locking them in. And we're just sitting on that Mercedes bet.
And we're sitting on the Mercedes bet.
Okay.
And I'm cheering. Everyone cheer for Colapinto. And then when Colapinto beats Albon, I want everyone to go to our Twitter and say, Mike, we told you so.
I honestly, I hope it happens. I would love for it to happen. I want
to see it. We told you so.
I only want the best for this guy, but it's not going to happen. He's just going to finish behind his teammate.
He might crash Alex at the start. Just see you later.
Good. They just both crash. Like, it's just like, where do you? Nobody gets the resolution that we want out of this. They just crash into each other. And we just have to go. Oh
no! But Franco limps around for one more lap. He's like, he doesn't know enough to retire. He's like, let me just try. I'll get it. Then he gets black and white flag pulled in, but he classifies one ahead.
Classifies ahead.
1 lap ahead.
Could happen. It could happen.
All right, that's gonna do it. That's the show. I love doing it right before the race because now we just get to go sweat these out like immediately. It's amazing.
It is.
And Mike, we're in a triple header.